sword broke and failed his master for the first time ever. Oh no! What happened? But the mother troll said, well, then the mosquito got in here. Did you bring it up? I have been waiting for you, yes. I expected your visit, yes, I did. But I thought you would have brought me flowers. Oh, candy! But it doesn't matter. No. Because down here, we have a tradition when we get visitors. Always as the first thing, we dance. So she ran, threw her arms around his back, and began to squeeze and scratch with her long, dirty nails. And Beowulf couldn't do anything else than say, because he had never felt such strength from a woman before. Maybe it was because she was Danish, I don't know. But she was so strong that he thought he would die. When he saw an old, rusty sword hanging on the wall, he could just reach it. He lifted it up, placed the tip of it between her neck and shoulder, and pressed hard. And the mother troll, she screamed, went 3 steps backwards and fell to the floor. That was close. I wonder if she's dead. I must be sure. So Beowulf went. Then he took hold of the hilt and pulled the sword out again. But she didn't move at all. And she was never going to walk the earth again. But then Beowulf looked around in the cave for the first time, and he realized it was a treasury. It was full of gold and silver and weapons and fine stuff everywhere. Except in the back of the cave. There he saw a big black lump laying on an old bed. And when he got closer, he could see it was Grendel. He was laying there with his arms sewn on with big clumps of stitches. This time, there may be no more doubts. So Beowulf went, took hold of Grendel's hair, then he lifted his sword, placed it on the troll's neck, and then he began. Until the head left the body. The body jumped and then it relaxed, and it would never walk the earth again. Then Beowulf looked at his sword. Big green slime drops were falling from the tip of it. Disgusting. Yuck. Do you know why? It was Grendel's blood. It was so sour that it melted the metal. And the sword was just becoming shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter. And Beowulf was very close to throw it away when it stopped. And he realized that the hilt was made of gold and couldn't just melt like that. I will bring this to King Hrothgar. Yeah. And what more shall I bring? That's not easy. Huh?
You need a present for boy?
Boy for
For the Bayouchinic.
The Bayouchinic.
With the sword?
Yeah.
Yeah, what could that be?
Princess.
Huh?
A princess?
Подарок.
Any princess around?
I haven't seen any in the cave.
I
know, and I will find him a princess upstairs, okay?
iPad.
Huh?
iPad.
Oh, he got one already. No, I know. I will bring Grendel's head to King Hrothgar. Then there will be no more doubts, and I can get back to get all the rest
with all the men, okay? Thank you. Then he went, took Grendel's head, pulled it towards the door, then he jumped into the bark and began to swim upwards. But at the edge of the bark, King Hrothgar's men and King Hrothgar had been waiting. And when the dark came, the king stood up and said, Beowulf is the bravest man I ever met. But this was more than even he could handle. Come on, let's go home. And then the king had went, and with him his men. But Beowulf's friends, they had stayed. And they were talking. They talked about Beowulf. And they knew how good a swimmer he was. So why couldn't he be a good diver as well, huh? Have you thought of that? You think, yes, yeah, me too. He can't just die like this, can he? But while they were talking, it began to bubble in the bark. And suddenly, Grendel's head popped up. Yeah! Run! And they ran in all directions. Some climbed into the trees, others hide themselves behind rocks and everything. But when they looked down, they saw Beowulf. Hey, he made it! And they climbed down and ran towards him and said, oh, it's so good to see you, Beowulf. Come on, I give you a hug. Come on. Oh my God. Mud. Oh. But you did it. Yes, I did it, Beowulf said, boom, and placed the head on the floor. Take the head and let's go to the king. But now it took 4 men to carry the head. But Beowulf went in front of the crowd up the hillside. They went through the forest and into the deer hall. They went to the door into the king's room, and Beowulf said, could you please place the head here on the floor? Thank you. There. Thank you. Then he knocked the door into the king's room. And the king said, so Beowulf opened the door, took Grendel's head and pushed it inside. And what did it say when the king fell to the floor? Yeah, push it said. Yeah. But Beowulf, he pushed his own head in. It's just me, Beowulf. Hey, you. Well, that's Swedish humor. Yeah, you know. But the king said, oh, it's you. You must never do that again. No, you nearly stopped my heartbeat. A troll's head. Yeah, thank you. I don't want that in my room. Take it out from here. Put it outside the hall and come back and tell me what happened down there in the dark, Beowulf. When Beowulf came back, he told about the fight with the mother troll. And then he took the hilt and gave it to King Hrothgar. And when King Hrothgar got the golden hilt in his hands, he could feel the whole history of his family streaming through his body. That evening, the king gathered all his men in the hall, and they had a mighty feast. They ate and they drank. And when everybody had something in their mouth, a chest was brought in. The king opened it so everybody could see it was full of gold and silver and jewels. The king closed it, gave it to Beowulf, and said, now there's no doubts left in me. Now I can live the rest of my life in peace. Thanks to you, Beowulf. And thanks to your friends. Without them you would never have managed. They are going to have presents as well. Bring in the presents. Then more presents was brought in. And the women got new silk material for their bodies. Yeah, which they like so much. And the men got new daggers for their belts. And new belts for their daggers. And when they couldn't eat anymore, Beowulf stood up and said, I think it's time for us to get back to Sweden now. They might need us there as well. Huh? But King Hrothgar said, okay, I will go to the beach and say goodbye. And so they did. They went to the beach, yeah, and they all went on board the ship with all their presents. And they began to row towards Sweden. Yeah, come on. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, whoa. Yeah, that's very good. Yeah, you just keep on rowing. Because King Ragnar, he was standing at the beach looking after the ship. And he was happy and sad at the same time. And that sounds a little bit strange, don't you think? But he was happy because he got rid of his dark shadows. He was sad because he wasn't sure if he ever would see Beowulf again. Because the king was an old man after all. But the king's daughter had followed her father, and she was standing behind him, shouting, "Hey, Beowulf, come back soon!" And Beowulf, he shouted, "Yes, of course, see you soon!" Mwah, mwah. Oh yeah, have some more, yeah. But then they began, whoa. Yeah, and then, hey, Sweden, watch out! Oh, break! Thank you. And then we push the ship. 1, 2, 3, and go! Thank you. Then Beowulf took his presents. And he went to the king and placed his presents in front of the king. And when King Hygelac saw Beowulf's presents, he said, "You better tell how you got such fine stuff, Beowulf." And then Beowulf told the whole story about his journey. And all the people who heard the story told the story to their friends, and their friends to theirs. And this time it was told all the way to Norway. And in Norway there was a man with a boat. He went to England and told the story there. And in the middle of England there was a very holy man. He was a monk. And he heard the story and he could write. And he wrote the story down. And that's the story that I read. And that I told you. And if you ever want to tell this story to your friends, you're most welcome. So this was an example of how things can develop working with the audience. At some place we find out that sitting on two sides, being in the hall, was something we had to try. And like the first time we tried that, we had 4 guys sitting like here, at his age. And when the trolls should be attacked, 4 guys jumped up, just turned the bench over, said it, and I was just like, oh my God, what's happening? Will they tear everything apart? But they attacked a few times, and then I said, sit down, I'll take care of it. And then they say, okay, and then they sat down. So that stayed in the performance. And today we have another. I haven't seen it for a long time. So things can exist for, I think I played this performance 600 times.
600?
Yes.
Я думаю, я примерно 600 раз представление показываю.
And in 5 of these performances, this had happened. Okay?
И в 5 из них происходило вот то, что мы сегодня видели.
So it will, in this way, storytelling becomes unique also.
И поэтому любой рассказ, он становится уникальным.
Because this was just today.
Потому что такое, как было, оно
In the park
сегодня.
on Sunday, it will be something
Уже даже в
else.
воскресенье в парке будет что-то совершенно другое.
Okay, we have a little break, 10 minutes.
Давайте прервемся на 10.
What time is it? Sorry.
А время сейчас
Half past 1. 12:30. Yes, just 10 minutes and we'll be back.